Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. Rimuru in Akame Ga Kill by alexkuhar360 Chapter 15, Dr. Weirdo. Rimuru's POV. It has been a few days since my spar with Kurome and it has been fine. I have been reading a lot in the Imperial Library. While I was there I noticed a spatial signature. According to Great Sage, it seems to be some kind of beacon or anchor mark. I think it is a sort of waypoint for whoever has Shambhala to travel to. That means it is someone high in the Empire. I have no idea who though. Since I need more info for now, I am working on my plan to lure out Dr. Stylish and kill him. Every time I look at him he is staring at me with a weird smile. I am not sure how, but he knows something that I am sure would not be good if it got out. I think my best bet is to try to frame him for trying to do something to me. Then Death won't mind if I kill him. To start my plan I waited until he was alone and walked up to him. Dr. Stylish, I heard from Seryu that you can do procedures that make people stronger. Can I ask you about doing something like that to me? I want to get stronger to impress Death. I could tell he fell for it instantly because of the evil smile he gave me. He started cackling and said, "Truly, what a stylish decision you have made. After the workday, come with me to my lab and we can do some tests to see what kind of adjustments I can give you." I just nodded happily and walked away. After spending most of the day with Death, where she mostly just talked about how if I got the right Tegu I could become a worthy opponent to spar against. It was definitely flattering, but it wasn't very interesting. I need to talk more to Death about her motivations in the future. After the day was done I told Death I made an appointment with Dr. Stylish to check on my health since I had not been checked in years. I also said it was his idea, even though it wasn't, to lay more groundwork for when I kill him. After I left I found him out in the garden, then followed him into the city where his main lab is apparently. I couldn't help but feel like he had plans to do something to me all by himself. Once we got to an underground area he brought me to a big room. It could sense a large amount of some kind of creature. They seemed to be human, but there was something else to them too, and it made me worry slightly. Once we got to the place that looked like an old-fashioned doctor's office, we sat down and we got us both tea. Instantly I could tell it have some kind of poison or sedative in it. I drank it all but used gluttony on my throat to eat it, so it didn't affect me. Some chance I was vulnerable to it. After that I pretended to pass out. He had some weird-looking minions pick me up and bring me to something that looked like an operating room. He then left for around 15 minutes and came back with a large amount of tools. This mother trucker was planning on cutting me open and taking my organs. I pretended to start waking up and struggled with the restraints. He looked bewildered and then started talking to himself. "Haha, you truly aren't a normal human, just as I thought. That should have knocked you out for 4 hours and you woke up in a matter of 15 minutes. Using your DNA in my puppets will surely make them even more stylish." He wanted to merge my DNA with those weird creatures. Hell no. Pretending to be half asleep I said, "How could you tell I wasn't normal? It would be wise to know since it could get me caught again." He looked triumphant and started explaining. "It all started when you fought Kurome. I noticed throughout the entire fight your breathing did not change once. That made me suspicious. Then I had one of my creatures that specializes in smell try to smell you and they would barely get anything. Much less than any human should. After that I had one specialized with sound keep an ear on you, and apparently you didn't use the restroom for many days in a row. If I can incorporate those traits into my creatures they will be unstably stylish." That is a lot more evidence than I thought he would have. I wonder has Death noticed any of those things? Fuck. I have to be more careful from now on. Now I need to kill this guy and his minions. I summoned a kunai from my stomach and used black flame to coat the tip to cut through the metal restraints I was in. Once I got out I summoned my sword and started attacking the minions that were trying to subdue me. While I was killing them easily, Stylish was screaming for someone to come in. When I finished the minions a large guy came in the room holding a familiar weapon. It was Shield's scissors. Since I know the basic of this Tegu it isn't a problem. I instantly rushed him and slid under his cut before taking both of his legs off. While I was fighting the big guy the first saw Stylish trying to escape, so I threw 2 kunai that caught his knees and made him face plant into the stone floor. After cutting off the Tegu user's head I walked over to him while he was begging how he would have left me alone after he got his samples. I just smiled wickedly and said, "You see, this was all my setup so Death wouldn't be mad at me for killing you. You fell for it like a rat trapped in my maze, you weirdo." Then as reality set in and his eyes changed to despair, I took his head from his shoulders. I saw in his hand I has some kind of syringe he was about to inject himself with. Good thing I killed him first. Lastly, I set the entire place on fire, only taking the scissors and Stylish's dead to give to Esdeath. I had to give her the scissors too because she have them to Stylish so she would know I came across them, which would cause unwanted questions if I didn't bring them back. Sorry Night Raid, but I can't give them back to you. Since it was decently know that I was close to Esdeath when I showed up at the gate covered in blood with a head and massive pair of scissors, the guards didn't ask questions. Probably too scared they would end up like the head. While I was walking I remembered that Stylish had a Tegu too, right? Well, whatever it was definitely destroyed in that fire and building collapse, so it doesn't matter. By the time I got to Esdeath's room it was late night. I had put Stylish's head in a sack to avoid spilling blood everywhere. Once I got to her, or I guess now our room, I knocked and then entered. Once I got in I saw Esdeath sitting on her couch reading a report. When she saw me with blood on my clothes she ran over and started asking what happened. I brought her over to the couch and put the sack on the table and took Stylish's head out. When I went to his lab he tried to take parts of my body too, but in his minions, as you can see, that did not work out for him. I also killed the user of these scissors. They were really weak that any of the Jaegers could kill them in under 10 seconds. Esdeath looked completely livid. I could see the aura emanating from her. Then she started speaking in a voice so calm it was frightening. So he tried to experiment on you, even after I told him the Jaegers, which you are a part of, are off limits. You should have brought him here alive so I could torture him for a few days before he died. Then she started beating the shit out of his head, after a little while the place where his head was now pasted. After she was done she started looking at me intently. Are you hurt at all? I can treat your wounds. If he hurt you I will find a way to resurrect him just so I can torture and kill him myself. I just put on a fake pout and looked away. Don't think me so weak to let those weaklings touch me. Once I learned what he wanted to do I killed them all easily before burning down his experimentation room. Esdeath calmed down a little before asking, what about Stylish's Tegu, did you recover that as well? I just looked away and answered. In our fight it was completely shredded so I let it burn. He also tried to inject himself with something before I killed him. I suspect it was something to turn him into some kind of monster. I destroyed that and anything that looked like it in the building. Esdeath nodded in understanding. That is unfortunate that a Tegu was destroyed, but it is good you destroyed that chemical. I have had enough of freaks for the time being. I could agree with that. I am sure that Seryu chick will be angry with what I did, but if it come to it I know I can take her and her weird pet or Esdeath will scare her straight. After I cleaned up Esdeath and I sent to bed where I was used as a body pillow again, I have to admit that Esdeath has grown on me over the days. I still very much intend to stop the Empire, but maybe I should look into non-lethal ways to take her out of the fight. I think the plan for now needs to stay the same though, defeat Budo and take his Tegu, get Shambhala from whoever has it, and now as a side objective try to understand Esdeath's motivation so I can potentially find a way for me to not fight in the upcoming battles. Maybe if I promise to take her to my world where the rule of the strong and the weak is much more mainstream she will listen to me. Maybe she could also help me get what I need in that case. No, that wouldn't be a good idea, at least not yet. Stuff really does get more and more complicated the more time passes. The end.